Welcome to Her Turn, the podcast for women who are ready for more. If you're in midlife and feeling like your body, your energy, or even your purpose has shifted, you're not alone, and you're in the right place. Each week, we're talking honestly about the things no one prepared us for: hormones, health, identity, relationships, and the big life transitions that hit us in our 40s, 50s, and beyond. Your host is Abby Lang, certified life and relationship coach and fierce advocate for women getting answers and taking back their power. She brings decades of experience, real talk, and natural solutions to help you feel like you again. This is your space, your time, and your turn.
Hi, and welcome back to the Her Turn podcast. Today, we're talking about something I know many of you have experienced firsthand: being dismissed, ignored, or outright gaslit by your doctor when you bring up hormone changes and the way you feel. My guest today is my dear friend Cherokee. She's 48, funny, smart, and in the beginning stages of perimenopause. But when she asked her doctor about her symptoms, she was told she was just depressed. Instead of getting hormone testing or support, she was offered antidepressants and sleeping pills. This episode is about what really happened and basically what should have happened. So, first of all, thanks for helping me out and coming on my podcast.
Anytime.
Can you just start out by telling everyone basically what symptoms that you were experiencing that even made you want to share anything with your doctor? Like, I know we chatted about it, but chat to the community basically about any sort of things that you felt were different in your body.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess it started around 2 years ago. I never really experienced PMS like as a teenager, as a young adult, anything like that. I actually used to think that girls made it up as an excuse, and I feel really guilty about that now.
I remember you telling me that.
I did.
I never get PMS. I never get sick, and I never get PMS.
I was very braggadocious about that. Yeah, but I genuinely used to think it was kind of like a crutch or an excuse if you were in a bad mood or you were a bitch. And like I used to pride myself on not being bitchy, but that's gone out the window. But so really, all of a sudden, about like 2 or so years ago, I noticed it was kind of cyclical when my boyfriend pointed it out to me, which isn't the best feeling either. But they would know more than anyone else, obviously your partner, that I would get a little edgier, more emotional. And, as a girl, you're like, well, I'm always emotional or like whatever. And then I'm like, my daughter's getting older and this, that, the other. But I started kind of tracking it myself. And I noticed that my emotions were kind of like really erratic. So I made an appointment with the OBGYN, and I said I went in with a woman. She was a little bit younger than me. I would want to point that out because I don't think we'd have the same conversation if she were the same age as me. So I had said to her how I was feeling and mentioned that I wanted to get my blood tested to see if I was in perimenopause. And she looked at me and said, well, what would that information do for you?
That's hysterical.
I know. So I kind of was like a little taken back, and I was like, well, I would know, first of all. And she's like, okay, and then what? And then she let it throw in that it was expensive, which I thought was odd too, because I have insurance.
Yeah.
What if I wanted to pay?
It's none of her business.
It's none of anyone's.
Really weird. Really weird.
So weird. And and I kind of like read a few things about this happening, but I certainly didn't believe it. Just started being really strange. Like she was like, yeah, I mean, like there's nothing really to do with the information once you get it. I think that maybe we could put you on antidepressant. And I'm like, I'm not depressed. I'm having like a little bit of like
right
hormonal imbalance is what I kind of felt, like a little bit of mood swings, things like that.
Yeah.
And it's only temporary. It's only for about a week of the month. She suggested, like you said, antidepressant, up in the dose on the sleeping pills, and putting me back on birth control, which was really wild because I was on it for 20 years and I don't want to be on it anymore.
Definitely don't need to be on it, or you just don't want birth control.
No.
So it sounds to me like your symptoms are starting out on more of a mental plane and less of a physical plane, which if I remember back, I think that for me, besides for having dry eyes, which was a physical symptom.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had really bad dry eyes. Mentally is where I felt it first, because I felt like this sadness And it wasn't like a full-fledged depression, but it was like I just didn't want to do as much and I just didn't feel as happy or as joyful or
Motivated.
yeah, I don't know. So that's interesting that you pointed that out.
I feel all those things too.
Yeah. People always think about the first symptom you're going to feel is hot flashes. And I have to tell you, I never got one hot flash during the day ever, and I'm 60. So I do know what it feels like to experience heat in the night, but I never had hot flashes. So if you think that the biggest symptom is hot flashes and you never get them, then you're like, oh, okay, because there's so many more symptoms that no one ever talks about.
That's, I think, a big part of it. Yeah, like you think like, oh, I'm gonna gain weight, or oh, I'm gonna like not want to have sex. And I don't have either of those issues.
Yep.
But I definitely struggle with sleep, and I definitely struggle with the moods and the hormonal imbalance and the sadness, and that's real. And just general cluelessness all the time.
Right, which really did get brought up in the community already with
Yeah.
it's an estrogen decline. There's so many things that people haven't brought up. I'm trying to let them come naturally, but just random joint pain that you never had before. And people are like, oh, something's wrong with my hip. And it's like, yeah, no, that again is estrogen decline and no one talks about it, right?
No one talks about the fact that, and not everyone's a mother on here, I'm sure, but that your kids are typically going away to school when this is happening.
Yep.
And it's really messing with me.
Yeah, it's a double whammy
Yeah,
sandwich.
it's like too much at like one time.
And you know what else? A lot of people also dealing with their parents getting older too.
Yeah,
So
too.
that's super emotional.
Not a fun time.
So no labs were ordered for you that day.
No, that wasn't I just basically wanted to completely like no antidepressants, no birth control. That was not even an option for me. She didn't even offer like a supplement.
Right. Like I was going to say that. Did she even talk about your stress level, your diet, or anything that could point to the root cause and help you make a change?
No.
Yeah.
She actually, if I remember correctly, she said that she was going to get on her soapbox now because she felt very passionately about people needing to know their estrogen levels. Which I
Wow.
thought was very crazy coming from a woman who delivers babies.
Wow. Okay. So, what kind of emotions did you feel when you like walked out of the office? I mean, I know I would have felt stupid
Just
because I have
defeated.
that button.
Yeah, just defeated. Like I was like, you know what? I guess for a hot second, I was like, this isn't worth it. This is all in my head. Like, I'm just gonna try to be in a better mood.
Sure. So, ladies, here's what should have happened. Her doctor should have ran some hormonal test. I feel like the problem happens when you as a patient walk into a doctor's office. Most probably you're not a doctor yourself.
Yep.
So you already feel kind of like they're in a superior position. Then you have no idea what to ask for. So you're at their mercy. And then if in any sort of a way they're gaslighting you, then you get intimidated and it's like you start shrinking. You don't know what to say. So one of the things I'm going to do is post in the community a sheet of the blood work that you should ask for. So you can just bring the sheet and say, I want this blood work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe just to the receptionist.
That's it. End of story. We don't need to discuss it.
No.
Why? Because I want to and it's my body.
Exactly.
So they should run this full blood work. And on top of that, if you were having the issues you're having, they could have done a saliva test. They could have done a Dutch test, which is based on urine samples. And you can see your sex hormones, your cortisol levels, your melatonin levels, your DHEA levels. And really, it shows you all your metabolic pathways. So would that have sounded easier if you could just walk in there with something?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Right. So where do you feel like you're at now, like emotionally with the whole situation? Like, are you going to go to the same doctor? What do we want to do next? Like, how can I support you?
Being here is the first step, and joining the group on the Facebook page is everything. I mean, I feel like the community is already responding so well. I don't know why I haven't changed my doctor, if I'm being honest. I'm sure a lot of people would agree. It's just like, well, they delivered my daughter and like they're fine. Like I haven't had any other issues, but yeah, I definitely need to find another doctor. And it's kind of like, I don't really feel like looking for another doctor. I kind of was putting it on the back burner a bit, but time keeps on ticking. And
Yeah.
I just had a little incident over the weekend where I was highly emotionally charged.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like that anymore.
Yep.
I really don't. It's giving me more anxiety than I have on a regular basis, and that's not good.
I had the same situation back when I was your age. I had gotten my hormone replacement therapy through a functional doctor. When I went to visit my OBGYN, she was a female, and they asked, what medicine am I on? And I don't take any medicine besides HRT. So I said, oh, I'm on bioidentical hormones. And she turned and looked at me like, oh, I actually brought them. She picked up the bottle and she looked at me and she's like, oh, you know that estrogen can cause breast cancer. And my functional doctor already warned me that this would happen. And she's like, just be very careful, like a lot of fear-based medicine. No information to back up what she was saying. And I tried to explain to her that everything that was going on for me, and I started to feel really better on them, but she just didn't care. So the funny part is that years later, maybe like 8 years later, I saw her again because at my practice, it's like 4 or 5 different doctors, and 4 of them are guys and one of them's her. So I randomly got her again, and she got older. And guess what? She was on them. And so she was understanding. So she had to actually go through and be in the trenches herself and feel like shit.
Yeah, and I get that, but you're a doctor and you should know what you're talking about, like as the gynecologist. But I'm saying, like, yeah, I felt like that same thing. I guess if someone asked me, 10 years prior, maybe I wouldn't understand. But if I was a doctor and that was my job to understand women's bodies,
Yep.
I wouldn't be so dismissive of someone, because it makes you, you're right, it makes you feel stupid. It makes you feel not heard. And then me, I kind of just was like, I'll be fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I have not really figured it out yet, by the way.
Well, we didn't get into it for sure, but I know that there was like this random video I was watching, and it was showing this intern interviewing OBGYNs and asking them actually how many hours of schooling they get on menopause, and it's 0. So if your doctor knows anything at all, it's because they decided that they want to self-educate.
They would add that to the curriculum. I can't believe that's not part of the curriculum.
Nothing. They know nothing. So
we're dead at that point, apparently.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and you wonder, how is this still happening in 2025? So in July of 2002, there was a study that took place within the Women's Health Initiative. The thing about the study was it was completely faulty. What they did was they tracked women that were on synthetic estrogen, which is not what bioidentical hormones are. These women not only were in synthetic estrogen, but they didn't balance it out with progesterone. So when you finally get on HRT, you're going to learn that estrogen and progesterone work like a seesaw. And it's very important, if you're supplementing with one, that you supplement with the other. They're both really amazing for your body and do a million different things. Probably emotionally, I would say both of them are going to help you. Progesterone works basically like a Xanax. It takes away anxiety and helps you sleep. Yeah.
I must not have any of that.
Estrogen is the feel good. I want to call my friends, go out and socialize, a little bit of the hot flashes, the dry eyes. So there's so many different symptoms for each hormone. It's almost like you have to start to learn them yourself. But the last study that took place really wasn't even accurate, and it was a very fear-based study. And I think that it made women so scared of estrogen. And every time they hear about estrogen and estrogen replacement, they get very scared, not realizing that there's many, many protective factors about starting estrogen for women, preventing Alzheimer's, preventing heart disease. So I could go on and on that, but probably we could say that for another day. What would you think if you could do this appointment again? What advice would you give anyone who's listening who hasn't had the talk yet, that first appointment?
Not ask, just tell them I would like my hormone levels checked.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Maybe not even bring up the perimenopause factor, because for some reason that seems to be a trigger word for people. Maybe just, I don't know. Don't ask. just tell.
Yes.
That's my advice.
And I have a feeling like, look, nobody wants to change their OBGYN. So you can give this lady a second try. You can even say, hey, I just paid you for an appointment. I know I talked to you about some things. I really want the following blood work to be done. Can I call the nurse practitioner? Da, 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 da. And then get the results of your blood work and then see, is she open to starting you on something, HRT? Once you have a better understanding and you see your blood work and your numbers, I will definitely be able to tell you some suggestions on what you may need. You don't necessarily always need everything all at once and in the beginning.
Okay. I'm open to any suggestions that will be helpful.
Because I also do testosterone.
Yes. Which I feel like I need.
Well, it's helped like me build muscle so much more easily than without it. And I take the littlest micro dose. It also makes me feel a lot more balanced and way less emotional.
Oh, I don't even know what I would do with that.
Yeah. I think that I had told you this funny story before, but so you'll get used to all these hormones and you'll know, hey, I think I need a little more estrogen, or I'm using too much progesterone, or you'll start to understand completely. But this one time, I think that I was basically using too much testosterone. I mean, I felt great. I was working out hard. My body looked good. I didn't have any belly fat. I had great sleep, great energy. I had maybe a couple little teeny extra hairs, here or there, because that can be one of the downsides.
Well, you shave that right off.
But I was like watching TV with Joe, and it was funny. Something came up and he just wanted to talk to me, and he's like, I really want to talk to you about this, and I want to tell you my feelings. And I just felt like I was the man. And I turned to him and I was just like, all right, just get to the point.
That's hilarious.
Is this really important? And I was like, wow, this is how they
funny.
feel all the time.
Yeah, they don't.
We just go on and on and on, and they don't even know what to do with all of it.
No, they definitely don't.
Yeah.
They want to.
They do.
They genuinely want to. But
Yeah.
it's like, we don't even understand it. How could they understand
Right.
it?
And I mean, honestly, the last thing I ever do is man bashing. You know how much I enjoy Joe. He really knows a ton about hormones. Like, he probably knows more than you do right now, because you'll know. It'll be like, I think you're using too much estrogen. Like, you're a little bit, zipping around a little too edgy or whatever. Or, well, if your sleep's not good, I think you need to, maybe up the progesterone.
I love it.
Yeah. So if your man loves you,
You can train Steve.
yeah, he'll find out for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap up, I'm super excited to share with everyone the real scoop about HRT. We're not going to do that today.
Okay.
But I really did want to thank you for being one of the first people out there to admit that you noticed an issue, you weren't embarrassed about it, you went to your practitioner, and basically you just got gaslit.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just not right.
No, it's really not right. It's not okay. And it's a confusing time. And the last thing you need is someone to make you feel stupid about it.
Absolutely. So I just really want to, again, thank you for being so honest and so vulnerable. Your story is so powerful, and unfortunately, it is far too common. So ladies, if you've been dismissed by your doctor in any way, if you've walked out with more questions than answers, if you're getting told things like you're just too stressed or you're getting older, I want you to know you are definitely not crazy, you're not broken, and you're not alone. I was there before. I walked in your shoes. I really had to figure it out during a time when it wasn't even as popular as it is now. This is exactly why I created the Her Turn community. And it is a space where you can ask questions and share your stories and get the support that you really do deserve. So you can head over to the Her Turn community. I welcome you in, and come join us, because we're really just getting started, and I'm excited to have you.
Thank you for listening to Her Turn. If today's episode gave you something to think about, laugh about, or take action on, share it with a friend and leave us a review. And if you're craving more support, come join us in the Her Turn community. We're creating something powerful for women who are ready to rise, feel amazing, and write their next chapter on their own terms. With Abby Lang as your guide, you'll get the tools, the truth, and the sisterhood to feel strong, clear, and connected again. See you next time.